barn door, like creaking open and shut.
Oh, that was absolutely terrifying.
Hey!
Echoes call from hollow halls, a voice that creeps and softly crawls. Time stands still, the air is...
In her latest vlog, uploaded on June 29, 2025, travel snacks creator Allison Sharp sets off on a spontaneous road trip through Texas with no clear plan for accommodations. The episode starts with Allison admitting she hasn't booked a place to stay, and because she's driving a loaner vehicle with no blankets or supplies, sleeping in the car isn't an option this time. The first major stop in her journey is a famous Texas staple known for its massive size and overwhelming variety of everything from food to home decor. She grabs a few unique snacks and pickled jalapeno hot sauce for her daughter-in-law. From there, she heads to Waco in search of a more unique coffee experience and lands at a local cafe known for its banana bread latte.
So the big thing about Buc-ee's is that when you're traveling, if you need something along the way, they got it. You need flip-flops? Got it. Cookware? Got it. A marshmallow stuffed animal? Got it. A random bucket? Got it. A $1,500 barbecue cooker thingy? Got it. And then all the foods, snacks, and drinks you could ever want, they got that too. And then they got like 150 gas pumps here. I'm just making that number up. It's just awesome. Now, they did have an icy wall that you can make like a Slurpee type situation. And they did have a pretty substantial coffee bar, but it was just like drip coffee, and then they have a lot of syrups and different milks. They even had oat milk. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't see that before. But I've had their coffee before and it's just fine and it's fine. But I want to try something new. And I did find a place in Waco, Texas that has a decently unique flavor that I really want to try.
While relaxing with her coffee, Allison pulls out her laptop to find a place to stay near Austin. Her original plan to stay under $150 a night quickly hits a wall when she realizes downtown hotels are charging up to $80 just for parking. Even nearby Airbnbs aren't immune to these inflated fees, so she pivots to search outside the city. After some back and forth, she books a unique Airstream rental about 25 minutes from Austin. Though initially skeptical about the property's exterior, which she describes as cluttered and rough-looking, she decides to give it a chance. Once inside, her opinion begins to shift. The Airstream is decked out with thoughtful details like records on the ceiling, country music memorabilia, and drum-inspired light fixtures. It includes a full kitchen setup, AC, a composting toilet, and twin beds.
Okay, I made it in here, and I guess I'm going to reserve my judgment until I come back later. But this is a little bit out here, a little bit different than the pictures. And then this is mine. And then this was just like broken. It's okay. It's okay now. Feeling a lot better about this. So let me lock the door. Make sure. Okay, that's good. So here's the tour. So one of the cool things, because you know I love music, all these records on the ceiling, and that goes throughout. And then looks like they're a country western fan, so like Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Coke memorabilia. And then this is actually super cool. It's a little kick drum or whatever that they turned into a light. Then there's a desk, a TV. I think that might be a heater, I don't know. This is life right now, this AC. And this was going when I got here, so that's definitely appreciated. All right, so then you got the 2-burner stove, sink, some drawers, oven, and then it's on like these.
As night falls, however, the vibe changes. While trying to sleep, she begins hearing strange creaking noises, almost like a door swinging open and shut. Then comes a more subtle vibration sound, like a heavy vehicle rumbling by. Her unease grows when she notices bites forming on her skin. By morning, she suspects they could be from bed bugs or spiders, and she mentions clusters of red marks on her back, legs, and arms. She inspects the bedding and sees some dark spots and a stained mattress. To make things worse, roosters begin crowing around 4:52 a.m., fully waking her after a restless night. Tired and itchy, Allison decides to leave early.
Good morning. I knew you were down there, little squawker.
Alright, I'm already up and getting ready to go because I did not have the best night, not gonna lie. I heard so many noises. I was hearing, hello, can I put the earring in? I was hearing the, almost like the sound of like an old screen door, like creaking open and shut. Like, I don't know if it was something was happening with the wind. And then I was hearing like as if the window was vibrating, like, as you know, like if you're, I don't know what I'm trying to say, I'm so tired. As if like a big truck drives by and the window's like and then like before 5 in the morning, these chicken roosters or whatever were cock-a-doodle-dooing. Also, I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but I was either bitten by spiders or bed bugs, and I don't like to be accusatory at all.
Despite the discomfort and the disturbing experience of the noises heard throughout the night, she closes out the video on a positive note, expressing appreciation for the decor and the host's efforts to make the space visually appealing and unique. In the end, this video encapsulates what Allison's audience loves most about her channel: real, unscripted experiences. So what did you make of this encounter? Let me know. Before moving forward, do me a favor and give this video a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before August, and I also got a surprise for you once we reach 100K. Now, enjoy the rest of the video and watch till the end because there's a hidden word somewhere in the video for you. Let's see if you can comment the hidden word correctly. Tesouros do Mundo is a Brazilian treasure hunting channel that is followed by many. It's run by this passionate guy who's always venturing into different forests with nothing but his metal detector and a sense of adventure. What makes his videos so compelling isn't just the potential for hidden gold, it's the thrill of possibility. You watch long enough and start to believe that maybe, just maybe, there's treasure buried there and he might find it. Most of his videos follow the same format: scanning the forest floor, digging up rusty tools, antique coins, the occasional bracelet or old weapon. But this recent video wasn't like the others. This time, the discovery wasn't just old or interesting, it was disturbing. At first, it was business as usual. He was moving through the trees, metal detector sweeping the ground. The beeping picked up around a cluster of brush, and after a few digs, he pulled out what looked like high-end jewelry, maybe gold, definitely valuable. It was an exciting find, and for a moment, just another day in the field.
Olha aí, amigo internauta, já bateu um sinalzinho. Bateu um sinalzinho bom aqui, hein? Entendeu? Um sinalzinho bom aqui, pessoal. Esse aqui, se não me engano, esse aqui era da parte da casa aí, ó. A casa da Viúva Negra. Pode ver os tijolos aí, ó. Olha aí, pessoal, faz tempo, hein? Sinalzinho bateu forte aqui, pessoal. Dá um barulho de carro aí, nós estamos na beira da estrada aí, tá? Aí, vamos ver se já saiu aí. Vamos passar mais um aparelhinho. O sinal continua aqui, pessoal. Mas o cameraman tá dando sinal pra mim com o dedo ali. E é verdade, olha aqui, ó. Dá uma olhada aqui, gente, já. Tem algo que tá aqui já, ó. Opa. Que minha nossa, gente do céu. Dá uma olhada aí, isso aí. Eu acho que tem algo sinistro aí, hein?
Moments later, buried in the soil just beneath where he found the jewelry, he unearthed what appeared to be bones, specifically the bones of a human hand. They were unmistakable, still partially intact. Most shockingly, the same ring from earlier was still on one of the fingers. That changed everything. This wasn't just an old treasure site anymore. This was potentially a grave site. A real person had been buried there. There was a moment of silence, a kind of uneasy pause in the video, as if even the creator himself didn't quite know what to do next.
Tem que ligar lá pra família, vir ver essas coisas aqui.
Eu acho que eu vou nem mexer mais, pai.
Hã?
Não,
Vou ver se é isso mesmo.
com certeza, pai.
Olha aí, pessoal. Não vou mexer, vamos deixar aqui, pessoal. Vamos deixar assim. Olha aí, gente, ó. Caramba, meu. Ó, pode ver aqui, ó. A ponta dos dedos ali, ó. Ali, ó. Olha, pessoal, realmente, pode ver aqui, ó. É uma mão, olha lá, ó. Cara, agora arrepiou, hein? Olha aqui, pessoal. 2 anéis aqui, ó. Cara, olha só isso aqui. Cara, olha aqui os anéis.
Vai, vou botar aqui não.
Vai lá, filho, vai lá, já liga pra ele já que a gente achou algo suspeito aqui. Aí, pessoal, O Júnior já vai ligar pra família. Cara, eu agora... Abaixou a pressão. Me deu uma tremedeira nisso aqui, gente. Cara, olha isso aqui, gente. Eu nunca vi isso aqui na minha vida, pessoal. Nunca tinha visto algo assim. Olha aí, ó. Pode ver uma mão e 2 anéis aí, gente. O Júnior já vai ligar pra família lá. Já vai relatar sobre isso aqui. Pra eles verem o que eles vão fazer com isso daí. A gente não vai mexer mais nisso daí, não. Caramba, meu. Nós somos relatados de coisa aí mesmo. Na última vez eu tinha achado umas coisas estranhas. Agora esse aí arrepiou mesmo. Esse aí mexeu com o sentimento do Ginho.
Tá bem, pai?
Cara, não tô legal não, cara. Avisou a família lá?
Avisei, já liguei lá, já. Estão vindo. Nossa, pai. Pesado demais aquilo ali, né?
He kept recording, but you could tell the tone had shifted from excitement to something closer to concern. And then they found something else, an old, weathered bag buried nearby. Inside the bag were personal belongings, faded photos, small keepsakes, and a stash of very old money. The currency looked like it hadn't circulated in decades, possibly dating back to the 1930s or 1950s. Even the bag itself looked antique, like something out of time. The combination of items, human remains, valuable jewelry still worn, and this personal satchel full of belongings was chilling. It painted a picture, but one that raised more questions than it answered.
Olha aí, gente. Caramba, meu. Olha o que a gente encontrou aqui. Dá uma olhada. Ó, pelo jeito. Olha aí, gente. Areias altas. Canivete. Dá uma olhadinha aí, ó. Um canivete, esse aqui é dos antigos, hein? Esse é dos antigos. Olha aí, ó. Gente do céu, tem coisa aqui dentro. Outra bem seca. Opa, olha aí. Mais um objeto aqui, pessoal. Pra quem não sabe, isso aqui é uma navalha. Olha, navalha de barbear. Então, olha, 2 objetos já aqui dentro da bolsa. E olha aqui. Epa, dá uma olhada, gente. Vou tirar tudo e já mostro pra vocês. Epa, fotos. Muitas fotos, gente. Dá uma olhadinha aqui, ó. Olha aí, gente. Bastante moeda, gente. Olha o vidrinho cheio de moeda, pessoal. Dá uma olhadinha. São moedas de alumínio, gente. 2 cruzeiros, 1964, 1963. Aqui tem de 1 cruzeiro, 1960, gente. Olha, moedas de alumínio aqui, 1960, 1959 e uma 1960. Olha aí, ó. Pra quem não conhecia essas moedas, então aí, ó. Moedas de alumínio, é isso, pessoal. Moedas de cruzeiros. Aqui, olha só, umas letras aqui atrás. E olha o que tá aqui no meio, pessoal. Lembrança de batismo aí, pessoal. Só que a letra aqui, ó, é das antigas, hein? Não dá nem pra ver o que é, gente. Olha aqui. Vamos ver se dá pra ver a data aqui. Ó, 1º de setembro de 1957. Tá aqui a data, então, ó. Então, um registro aí de batismo aí de 1957, gente. Esse é dos antigos.
The right thing was done. They contacted the authorities. But beyond that, there's been no official update. No confirmation of identity. No report on what the authorities found when they returned to the site. Just silence. Now think about this. Someone was buried out there. Not in a graveyard. Not under any kind of official circumstances. Just deep enough to be hidden from plain sight, but not so deep that a determined metal detector couldn't find them. The person was still wearing their jewelry. That's strange on its own. If it had been a robbery or murder, wouldn't the valuables have been taken? One theory is that whoever buried the person didn't want to be connected to the belongings. If they stole the jewelry or the bag and got caught with them later, it would raise questions. So maybe they buried everything with the victim to make it all disappear. The personal bag complicates things even further. It was full of meaningful items, photos, money, and keepsakes, not the kind of thing someone would forget, which suggests it was either deliberately buried along with the body, or the victim was carrying it at the time of death. In the end, we don't have answers. But whatever happened in that forest decades ago, I think it was never meant to be discovered. On July 30, 2022, outdoor enthusiast Grant uploaded what began as a peaceful solo fishing trip to Yellowstone National Park, but quickly turned into a suspenseful experience that showed just how unpredictable stealth camping in the wild can be. Grant is no stranger to nature. His days are often spent near quiet lakes, fishing, and enjoying the calm isolation of the outdoors. This trip to Yellowstone initially followed the same familiar rhythm. Water levels on the Yellowstone River had recently dropped after major flooding, and word was that the fish were active again. Eager to take advantage, Grant headed into the park, planning to combine fishing with a bit of stealth camping for a full wilderness experience. The day unfolded beautifully. He spent hours along the river. However, the peaceful atmosphere shifted as evening approached.
spot number one today, guys. We are on the Yellowstone River here in Yellowstone National Park. I know you guys know a lot about the flooding that went on here. Water levels have dropped, perfect levels, and these fish seem to be pretty happy from what I've been hearing. So I decided why not to come out here, try a stealth camp, and see what we can do, and if we can find some fish today. So just show you guys the whole Yellowstone National Park. So sweet.
With every campsite in the area fully booked, Grant had made the decision to stealth camp. He found a remote dirt road, one of the only ungated paths he came across, and parked his camper far enough off the beaten path that it seemed like a safe, if slightly exposed option. It wasn't ideal, but in his experience, these quiet, out-of-the-way locations often made for the most memorable nights. And soon, that would exactly be the case. After exploring a bit more of the area on foot, he returned to his van and prepared to spend the night. Despite the quiet, there was always a hint of unease.
Well, speaking of a bear spot, here I am crouching in the woods, eating their strawberries. I'm sure they wouldn't be too excited. So, on that note, guys, I've walked a little ways along this gorgeous trail and found something cool for you guys. Had a little bonus in there. Only if we could catch a fish. This section catch and release only, and do like some strawberry trout. I don't know. I'm not a great cook, and honestly, that doesn't really sound great, but I'm sure someone knows how to make it great. So, anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get back to the truck. Just take it easy for the rest of the night. And honestly, I think I might just sit down here on the benches like I'm fishing. And as it gets darker, head up and then sneak in the truck. Well, guys, I have been hanging out just for the last little bit here. It just got dark here, so I decided to hop in the back of the truck now, as I was getting pretty terrified with the grizzlies and all that good stuff, guys. Fingers crossed nothing happens in the rest of the night. It's been a pretty good night so far, pretty good day. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's been an awesome adventure. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, and I'll wake you up if anything else goes on the rest of the night, but I think we're looking all right, so...
Hours passed without incident, but close to midnight, that tranquility was shattered. The sound of tires crunching slowly over gravel snapped him into full alertness. A vehicle approached his campsite and began circling, headlights sweeping through the trees and across his van. It was remote enough that no one should have been there. What followed was a moment of intense unease. The headlights stopped, a figure stepped out of the vehicle. It wasn't a curious camper or fellow adventurer, it was a park ranger. Grant hadn't realized stealth camping was prohibited in that specific area. The ranger approached and asked the necessary questions, checking that everything was safe and accounted for. Although firm, the interaction remained civil. Grant was issued a verbal warning and told to move along.
Coming, sir.
Hey, dude, sorry to bother you, man. It's a little late. No worries. Unfortunately, there's no camping in here. Are you the only one in the vehicle, brother?
It's just me, man.
All right, can you step out? You got a license on you, brother?
Dude, I'll have to get my wallet, man.
You doing anything? You okay?
Yeah,
Where you
man,
from,
just, actually out of Boise. Just doing some camping. I did not know it was illegal.
Yeah, dude, so unfortunately you can't camp in Yellowstone at this place. You're gonna have to, brother, get out. No problem.
I do apologize.
No, you're good. Can you see ID, brother?
Yeah.
While the outcome was minor in terms of consequences, the emotional impact was far more lasting. The sudden intrusion in such a remote place, especially in the dead of night, was unnerving, even for someone seasoned in outdoor adventures. He packed up in silence and drove off into the dark. The excitement of the day faded. There was no confrontation, no real danger, but the feeling of vulnerability.
Well, that was absolutely terrifying. I'm so thankful we got off with a warning there. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Do I recommend stealth camping Yellowstone? Absolutely not. So, anyways, guys, I will see you in the next one.
Stealth camping had always offered a sense of quiet freedom, an escape from crowded campgrounds and rigid schedules. But that night revealed the risks that come with bending the rules, especially in well-regulated areas like Yellowstone. Grant didn't break the law with malicious intent, but it didn't change the fact that he'd unknowingly put himself in a position that could have gone much differently. Though the night ended without harm, It marked a turning point in Grant's journey and surely in all his future ventures as well. What did you think of this encounter? Like always, let me know your thoughts. On June 17, 2025, Chris, the solo investigator behind NKPS Paranormal, ventured into the dense forests of Pendleton County for what he thought would be a typical overnight spirit investigation. His channel is known for real-time explorations of haunted and abandoned locations, but this night would turn out to be different. The destination was a stretch of forest near Willow Creek, not far from a cluster of abandoned homesteads left to decay since the 1950s. The area had long been associated with unexplained events, strange noises, sightings, and a heavy atmosphere that unsettled even seasoned outdoorsmen. Add to that the ever-present risk of wildlife, coyotes, mountain lions, and black bears, and it made for the perfect if dangerous backdrop for paranormal exploration. Upon arrival, Chris wasted no time setting up his tent and gear as night fell.
What's up, guys? Your friendly ghost hunter here, Chris. So I've decided to come back here and camp out for you all tonight. All my gear. I'm gonna see what happens. So I'll get back to you after I set the tent and everything up. So guys, like I said, I'm camping here tonight, trying to catch something for y'all. I'm already hearing noises. You can hear the bullfrogs plain as day. They're coming from that way. I've been hearing howling. I do have my pew-pew again tonight with me, just in case something goes down. But I'm going to try to get set up inside the tent. And maybe we'll do a walk around here later.
Initially, the soundtrack of chirping bullfrogs offered a kind of peaceful rhythm, but as he settled in for the night, that natural chorus began to fade. A strange series of squeaks, footsteps, and howls broke through the darkness. At first, they were sparse and uncertain, easy to dismiss as nocturnal animals, but soon they became more frequent and oddly intentional. With the ambient noise dropping to an unnatural silence, Chris began to notice a growing sense of presence around his tent. At one point, he thought he heard a coyote in the distance, but the noises didn't follow any pattern associated with normal wildlife.
G-U-N. But that, you hear that noise between the frogs? I think that's a coyote, but hear that? I don't know. Never heard that noise back here before. Oh, and I already started the old step 2, Steve Wallace style. Got some Southern Comfort in there. Trying to get relaxed, trying to fill this area out, listen to my surroundings. Somebody out there?
Despite the unsettling sounds, Chris remained focused on his mission. Using a spirit box, he attempted to initiate contact with whatever entities might be tied to the land. The session began with vague readings and flickers of static, but gradually, the responses grew clearer and more disturbing. Words like leave, skeleton, and abandoned emerged. At one point, the word mom came through. For Chris, this was especially emotional, as his mother had passed and he carried her ashes in a necklace. To him, the spirit box seemed to reference this detail in eerie accuracy. Then came the defining moment. Without warning, something slammed into the side of his tent with considerable force. The entire structure shook violently, as though a large creature, or perhaps something else entirely, had thrown its weight against it.
I'm gonna give you all a few more minutes, and then we're gonna call this quit with this stuff. Then we're gonna go out and walk around and see what we can get into, see what we can find. And then we're gonna call it a night. Hey! Hey! What the was that? Jesus Christ. Something just literally jumped on this tent.
Despair.
Who is out there? Did you all see that? Okay, we're gonna put 7.8. This shit's going haywire. This stuff's going haywire. This stuff's going haywire. This says despair, skeleton, leave. I'm gonna tell you, I'm shook up, guys. Seriously, I don't have a clue what that was. Whatever it was is big. I pushed it away, and I didn't hear no footsteps. Hello?
Chris immediately grabbed his knife and braced for further impact, but no follow-up sounds came. Outside, the forest had returned to near total stillness. Whatever or whoever had struck the tent had done so without making an approach or a retreat. It was as if it had vanished into thin air. Chris remained inside, shaken and confused. The equipment began to spike erratically, displaying unusual energy fluctuations.
Hey guys, I'm gonna put my shoes on. I'll get back with you after I open the tent. We'll get out there and see what's going on. Alright guys, I'm back out here. I don't see anything. Anybody out here? I don't even see any ice. Like nothing. So what the hell pushed my tent in?
Eventually, Chris worked up the courage to end the session. He then stepped outside to investigate, but nothing out of place was found. The mystery of the impact remained unsolved. The next morning, Chris emerged unharmed but clearly rattled. He later shared the footage with us, explaining that while he had experienced strange activity on past investigations, nothing had ever physically interacted with him or his tent like this. In a recent upload, Paranormal Discovery released one of its most unsettling videos yet, taking us into the remote wilderness of western Newfoundland for what was meant to be a haunted campout. Instead, it turned into an eerie confrontation with a cryptid rooted in intense local folklore, the Weber Man. Chelsea and her partner Lomar, along with fellow YouTuber Exploring with Angelo, ventured far off the beaten path, deep into rugged mountains and dense forests, with the intention of seeking out supernatural experiences. They got more than they bargained for. Before even setting up camp, Chelsea saw a tall, dark silhouette moving with unnerving speed and grace through the trees. It weaved effortlessly around obstacles, suggesting not just agility, but familiarity with the land as though the forest was its home.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another haunted campout. We just got to the middle of nowhere again. We are trying to find a place to camp. We made our way into a deep forest, and you already saw something, right?
Yeah, I literally was looking into the woods on this side and saw a tall silhouette, all black, of something or someone running alongside the car.
God.
Deeper in the woods. Like I could see them going behind the trees and like going like this and like running.
Could it be a Sasquatch?
I have no clue, but I saw it clear as day.
Running through the
forest. And it's like they knew exactly where to go, where to like avoid. They were like running perfectly.
That is honestly really scary, to be honest. By the way,
Scary for you, and I was the one who saw it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what the hell? So we do have Exploring with Angelo ahead of us. So we've been trying to find a spot to camp for a while today, probably for the last hour and a bit. And not gonna lie, we're trying to make it out to hunt some Sasquatch and get out there deep in the off-grid areas. But yeah, it's looking like we're hitting an ATV path, to be honest.
Chelsea, shaken but alert, insisted it wasn't just a shadow or a trick of the eye. Whatever it was, it had intelligence and intent. Soon after, she introduced viewers to the legend that would come to define their night, the Weber Man. Known in Newfoundland folklore as a cryptid that stalks forests and marshes, this being is described as a grotesque hybrid, sometimes thought to be the offspring of a man and a bear, or a feral child, featuring reptilian traits and webbed appendages. According to local stories, the Weber man is both migratory and predatory, known to roam between Newfoundland and Nova Scotia in search of human prey. The terrain they were in, dense, wet, isolated, matched the legend's favored habitat.
So Western Newfoundland has its own folklore story of a specific type of cryptid creature that roams the woods. Do you know what he's called? He's called the Weber man.
The Weber man.
Yes. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of the Weber man, but let me pull up a quick little research I did. Okay, so we have the Weber tale, which is again found in Western Newfoundland. So this legend describes a murderous, half-human creature, sometimes offspring of a man and bear, or a feral child, with webbed feet and reptile-like characteristics. He is said to stalk human prey at night in wooded marshland types of areas. So,
I mean, I did see marsh coming up on the other side.
so it's like marsh or wooded areas.
Marsh or.
So he's known to go into any area that could be marshy or wooded. That's where he will frequent. So we are literally deep in the middle of nowhere, deep in the middle of the woods. And I've already...
In a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. And I've already seen something or someone running in the woods.
As dusk fell, so did the sense of safety. What began as casual exploration quickly gave way to a cascade of unsettling phenomena. Tree knocks, distant rustling, and a creeping sense of being watched surrounded the group. At one point, Chelsea and Lomar saw what appeared to be glowing yellow eyes low to the ground, staring at them from the underbrush. An intense putrid smell, described as rotting eggs mixed with wet animal, began to permeate the area and seemed to follow them wherever they went. Their equipment picked up strange spirit responses. Words like malevolence, torment, and follower came through repeatedly, amplifying the already oppressive atmosphere.
My God, man.
You trying to enjoy my damn steak?
Are you hearing stuff from over there?
No.
Okay, because there was something like right there, man. Can you come out?
Well, the moose, you really want it to come out?
Could they hurt us, Moose?
Oh, yeah.
They could.
Oh, they could destroy you.
Nice.
Jesus, they can destroy you. I love that.
Okay, well.
Okay, well, enjoy your moose.
That was weird.
Thanks.
Yeah. That was actually creepy as hell. That came from
That was loud.
over there.
What was that?
Hey, that one I heard.
Torment. Yeah, you're tormenting us.
Agreed.
That actually scares the hell out of me now.
Yeah, me too. That like legitimately made me like jump out of my chair.
Lomar, exploring a path solo at one point, felt emotionally and physically altered. He described a growing sense of detachment and weakness, as though something unseen was draining him of energy. A critical moment came when both Chelsea and Lomar spotted a pale humanoid face peering at them from between the trees. At first, they questioned whether it was just a trick of light, but as it moved slightly, they both realized it was watching them. The face vanished after letting out a guttural, unnatural shriek, leaving them shaken. They tried to return to their dinner and the warmth of the fire, but the unease had fully set in.
Is there someone standing by that tree down there? Yeah.
Yeah, I see that too. I noticed that too right away. Hello?
It looks like someone's standing. Is that a face? Wait, stay. It's at the side of the tree. Like, what is that?
Later that night, Chelsea experienced a chilling episode of sleep paralysis, a phenomenon locals in Newfoundland refer to as being visited by the old hag. She reported being fully aware of her surroundings but unable to move or speak, trapped in her own body.
Find you.
Yeah, I'm exhausted, man. At one point too, though, like, I remember being asleep, and this just came back to me, like, right now, but I remember being asleep and, like, you lying right next to me, and me just lying there being, like, stuck.
Really?
Yeah, like I felt like I couldn't move. I felt like I couldn't like I was trying to like vocalize something and nothing was coming out.
Oh my
And I just
God.
remember like lying there and like being so uncomfortable and just being like stuck.
Oh my God, you know what I think it is?
What?
Here in Newfoundland, remember the old hag?
Do you think I got visited by the old hag last night?
You could have gotten, targeted by an old hag, or the old hag.
The final hours of the campout were filled with more strange noises, cracking branches, growls, and more movement circling the camp. It became evident that something was stalking them. Though they never got a clear look at what it was, the consistent pacing, the shrieks, the smells, and the intelligent movement pointed to something not easily explained. By morning, the group was physically exhausted and emotionally frayed. Despite the daylight, the area still felt heavy, charged with energy that didn't dissipate with sunrise. Chelsea reflected on the terrain, describing it as ancient and separate from the rest of Canada, suggesting that the stories, legends, and entities of Newfoundland are deeply rooted in something older than recorded history.
Now, this is the thing that I kind of realized about cryptids, and cryptids are still so undiscovered. It's really hard. It's almost like ghost hunting, but on another level in a way. You don't really know what you're talking to or trying to hunt. Really, you're basically going off of like old beliefs, old myths, urban legends. But there is some truth to it. There's some sort of truth to the way cryptids are. And it's hard when you are going out here into the wilderness, into the middle of nowhere to hunt for these things. It's hard. And that's what we're both kind of learning right now is the cryptid thing is a different level of ghost hunting. So
Whether what they encountered was the Weber man or something else entirely, one thing was clear: the land held secrets, and those who enter its deepest corners might not be as alone as they think. Paranormal Discovery's haunted campout evolved into something much more harrowing, an intimate brush with folklore made real. Like always, I'll let you draw your own conclusions to this encounter as well. In this video from Exploring with Bear, solo explorer Jer Bear heads into what was once a majestic, untouched mansion. The location had been recommended by a viewer, and based on the pristine photos Jer Bear had seen, he expected to walk into a near-time capsule. But upon arrival, the reality was far more disturbing. What was once elegant had been ransacked, vandalized, and left in a state of eerie abandonment. From the moment Jer Bear steps inside, the mansion gives off an oppressive energy. Despite its crumbling condition, details like stained glass, ornate fireplaces, vintage appliances, and untouched family photos suggest this place had once been full of life. Now it's hollow, quiet, and steeped in decay.
Whoa, what is that? Man, that just goes straight down there. That's weird. Huh. The basement. Now, from what it sounds like, this place is either set to be demolished or sheriff's auction. I'm actually not positive what they're going to do with it yet. Look, they even had like ropes and tassels lining the beams in the ceiling. That's different. Detail.
Almost immediately, Jer Bear's instincts are on high alert. He doesn't know if anyone else is in the house, and given its massive size and maze-like layout, the possibilities are endless. While exploring, he discovers something far more sinister than graffiti or broken furniture: blood. Smeared in different parts of the house, including near a group of spray-painted teddy bears, the presence of blood hints that something violent may have occurred. Combined with the smell of smoke he notices upon entering, it's clear the house hasn't just been abandoned, it's been disturbed.
Holy look, guys, that's blood. Blood. Where else is there blood? Blood. Yeah, somebody was bleeding in here for sure.
As Jer Bear moves room to room, the atmosphere shifts. The basement reeks of mold, making it difficult to breathe. The air feels heavier, the silence more pronounced. The deeper he goes, the more oppressive the mansion becomes. Footsteps echo through the structure. They move above him while he's in the basement, then on the main floor, and finally, directly above when he reaches the upper levels. Despite calling out, no one ever answers. Whoever or whatever is there remains unseen.
There's somebody walking upstairs. Hear that? There's somebody upstairs. You can hear him. They're right above me. Hello? Okay. I was about to go upstairs, but maybe they're just some other explorers. You can hear him moving. Son of a gun. I thought I smelled smoke when I walked in, too. I didn't say it on camera, but I smelled smoke. Like somebody was smoking.
Among the old furniture and forgotten objects, Jer Bear finds a knife stuck into the dirt as though someone had been digging. In another area, a scale like those found in doctors' offices is left beside a fireplace. A $14 gas bill dated decades ago lies among the debris, clues that the house was lived in, loved, and suddenly left behind. Every room holds echoes of a life interrupted. Throughout the exploration, Jer Bear is visibly affected. He speaks of chills hitting him in waves, of the hair standing up on his neck, especially near certain rooms. While using a spirit detection device, he picks up nothing measurable, no spikes, no indicators. Yet the physical sensations persist.
Hello? Man, I just got a chill. I crap you not. I just got a big time chill. Man, my hair's standing straight up. I don't know why. That's crazy. But this thing is not moved. We did hear footsteps. Maybe that wasn't a person. Because I'm telling you, man, my freaking hair is standing straight up right now.
Despite the lack of a concrete sighting, this exploration is packed with unease. The blood, the disturbed ground, the odd placement of objects, and the persistent noises all build a case for something beyond simple decay. Even the vintage piano, which still plays, feels like a ghostly remnant of the past. Jer Bear expresses deep frustration at the vandalism, knowing how stunning the home once was. But more than disappointment, it's the mystery and the dark energy that lingers most. By the end, he's no closer to solving what or who was there. But his conclusion is clear. This house watches, it listens, and while he managed to walk out unscathed, something inside made sure he never felt alone.
I definitely got the chills right here again. It's right here. This is where I felt it last time. Right here. I've got super chills right here. But this thing's not moving. That is really weird. But we did have... You could clearly hear somebody walking above us. Okay. I have not heard that for a while. Footsteps.
If you're still watching,
All right, guys. I
comment
don't
the
know.
hidden
Is this
word
place
thriller.
haunted or not? Those were clearly footsteps. I heard them when I was in the basement. I heard them up here, and when I was up here, I heard them upstairs. So, what is that? Spirit? Person? I don't know. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments.
Whether it was a spirit, a residual haunting, or something else entirely, the mansion left its mark. With this final encounter comes the end of another episode. If you haven't already, let me remind you again to like and subscribe. Also leave a comment about what you liked and didn't like about this video. We always look to improve our video quality so you get the best videos possible. In about 3 seconds, there will be more disturbing videos on screen for you to watch. And with that, I'm out.